working it out first, stretching it out, getting limper.
Okay.
Can't be doing doubles anymore. I'm just an old guy.
Doubles?
I'm 32.
Hello.
Hi.
This is
Between
two.
Realtors,
We're the Realtors.
I guess.
This is the space between us. Welcome to it.
This could be your home if you wanted to join us on the show someday. I'm literally inviting people to join this show.
We'll scoot over so you.
How do I get do you want to make them like contestants, participants?
I don't know. That's a loaded question. I have no idea.
I'm just gonna start randomly inviting people to this podcast.
We'll have someone come in soon. Don't worry. You see, you can stop looking at our faces.
I feel like I need to invite famous person, like Tom Hanks.
Oh man, if we had Tom Hanks here, he'd have nothing to say about
or
it.
Annie Hathaway.
Oh my God. All right.
Okay.
We're gonna go down a tangent.
Yep.
Right? Current market conditions, because right now everybody is just losing their minds right now because of this market. It's crazy, including us. People are upset. We're not upset, but we're also frustrated, especially for
It's a hard market for everyone.
Especially if you have buyers, and renters. It's really tough. It's just, not great.
It's hard to be on the searching side right now.
Yes, for sure.
If you're on the selling side,
you're sitting pretty.
You're sitting pretty. Because if you're selling or you're leasing, you're just going to sit back there. You're going to go like this. Here's my home. How much will you give me for it? And
you've got 10 people saying, we'll give you all this because there's no other home and I need this home.
Yeah. But I think it's important before we kind of go any more into that, just to kind of talk about why the market is the way it is.
For sure.
So that people understand, so that then they can have more, I don't know, if you would call it empathy or whatever for the situation, but just so they can feel that they're not alone.
Yeah.
It's not their fault. It's not that what they're looking for is unrealistic. It's just the conditions that are there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's good. The biggest one, the overarching thing, right, is COVID. I know the dreaded C word. We don't want to talk about it, but it really did affect everything when it comes to life, the economy, and this market in particular.
Yeah. So I think the biggest thing maybe to start with COVID and how it impacted. So when the pandemic started, right, everyone, not everyone, but a majority of people did leave the city, right? Because
nothing to do here.
You wanted more space, and you can get more space in suburbs or other places for the equivalent amount of money that you might have been paying in city rent. So with that, now that COVID, I'm not declaring it over, people. I am not planting my flag on victory here. But what I am saying is that now that restrictions have been eased,
things are happening.
Yeah,
concerts,
things are happening.
Festivals.
You can go to a restaurant and stuff like that again. With that being said, people are now coming back into the city, right? And wanting apartments. And that's great. But we have to kind of add that in combination with the fact that going back again, when COVID happened, because there were all these vacancies in apartments and everything, there were a lot of landlords, property managements, both in all different segments of the market, high end all the way to basic studio apartments, that were offering these incentives and concessions, right?
What a crazy summer. It was 2 months of free rent in the middle of the summer, which
3 months free, 4 months free, moving fees waived, all that kind of stuff, right?
Because there was so much vacancy.
Can I go back to those days?
Oh.
But when that happens, the other thing that came along with it was that there were these odd leases that happened constantly. So people were entering into 15-month leases or 18-month or 13 or doing
just
something
weird numbers.
Yeah,
not
just
your
weird
standard
numbers.
12
months, which for general purposes kind of kept an average amount of inventory on the market for rental purposes, right? At any given point in time throughout the year. Now all of a sudden you've got apartments that are all going to be coming on the market later in this year, or they already came on market earlier this year. and maybe not as many during like the summer months because that was what everyone was like leaving originally.
Yeah.
Right. So the whole dynamic of like the inventory turnover is a little bit different this time around, like this year, than it ever has been in recent history.
I feel like our inventory is flooded usually with rentals in this time with pre-COVID, because it was just everything is pushed the summer months, and then people weren't having weird lease lengths. It was 12 months, but now it's like, it's not low, but it's not as high as it normally is. And things are moving so quickly because everyone's moving back here and doing stuff. So, and because of that, landlords, owners, property management companies are raising the rent on places because they know that demand is high. And they're making up for all these concessions, giving you 2, 3, whatever, 3 months of free rent on top of lowering rent to incentivize you to move in. They're like, we lost a lot of money these last 2 years. We got to bump this rent up to make up for lost profit.
And that's what I was going to say. So anyone who got a concession, because I keep on hearing this like every day, anyone who got a concession during like COVID in 2020, 2021, all of a sudden now has had a huge rent increase. Now they're looking again, which is driving even more people into the market that normally would have just like renewed their lease. And so you've got those people competing for things that maybe are, because their rent's been heightened, like the market's kind of shifted a little bit. And so now they're competing with like an even smaller pool of apartments again. But yeah, and then, geez, like we haven't even like touched on yet, like because we spent so much time on COVID already. It's just the natural spring summer market that we're like getting into. It's literally April. This is kind of when our market usually hits and starts. It started even earlier in March.
It did.
And that's when like there's already a ton of action and market starts to move quicker, and that it's kind of like compounding, right?
That on top of COVID, people are back in the office. Like we're not seeing as much of, I work from home 5 days a week, which people I feel like still are, because I think a lot of companies have been like, hey, this has been great and conducive for you. We've been productive still. You can work from home. But a lot of people are hybrid now, where they're working, they have to go in. So they're traveling, they have to go downtown. So they're moving back closer to the city or closer to their office because they aren't working from home 5 days a week. That also has an effect on things. That also means that buildings are being used for rent, or they're purchasing for businesses, which means that that's also kicking up. I don't know. It's just been
a much more competitive market than it has been. And that's saying something, because it was already competitive with all the low interest rates over the past 2 years.
Yes, which is like crazy from 2 years ago to now. The difference, it's like probably like 3%, I would say, right? We're looking at a 3% difference from 2000, like 2020, early 21 to now we're at 22. But I feel like in terms of sales, the city is great, and there is lower inventory in the city, but it's not as sparse as it is in the suburbs. The suburbs is rough right now. Anyone that's looking to purchase out in certain areas of the suburbs of Illinois, it's like the minute something hits the market in a certain price range, it's like multiple offers left and right. Get your highest and best in by this day, and it sucks. Whereas in the city, there's a lot of gems that have popped up where it's similar to that, but like I'm personally looking for myself, and I feel like I have options. I'm not completely stranded. I've had a couple of clients in the last couple of months who we've been able to find things that fit what they're looking for. Taking advantage of things sitting on this. We're in this seller's market, so taking advantage of things sitting for more than like 2 or 3 weeks it puts you in a good position as a buyer in a seller's market, because hey, it's been sitting and we're in this crazy market. Let's offer a little bit lower. Which has worked out in my favor personally with my clients. But I just feel like the city isn't as bad when it comes to low inventory as we are thinking about the outside and the suburbs, because it's like, it's
suburbs
wild.
Is bad.
It sucks. I feel bad for buyers that want to purchase out there right now, because it's just like, are you willing to pay over ask? Because that's pretty much what we're looking at. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. I mean, personal experience. So
yes.
But no, I think like the one thing I just wanted in talking about this today, because I felt like we owed our audience, I hope you're growing in size every day, but I wanted to offer like our audience, like instead of just like stuff about information they can like find in different places like all the time, I wanted to offer them something that was more current and like, this is like what you need to like do today kind of thing, or like this is like what's going on today.
No bullshit, folks.
Yeah. So I think like the biggest thing I just wanted everyone to take away from is that yes, the market conditions are a lot more competitive than they have been in recent time, literally as early as a year ago. But with that said, just be patient both in your own search and with anyone that you're working with, like whether it's myself or Savannah, or
We're your only two options, folks.
the only two options as far as being a realtor that you can choose from. But if you're working with someone else, just kind of be patient with them, because at the end of the day, like in this past 3 weeks alone, I've had it happen so many times where I literally go to schedule someone showing. By the next day, the apartment's already, or the condo's already off market.
Yep.
And then I'm like rescheduling for different stuff or sending other options that are also disappearing the following day. And that's just like a piece of like how the market is right now. So, and in addition to being patient, I would say be urgent.
Yeah. Oh goodness! If you can get out and see something that you love immediately,
like same day, yeah,
make it work.
Try to, like definitely try to figure that out. It's a little bit different than it was a year ago, where I was literally telling clients a year ago, like, don't worry, like we'll go see it in a week. Even if that option's gone in a week, there's another one still in the same building that's also vacant. We'll get you into that. Like it'll be like no big deal,
Not anymore.
Those things have kind of flip-flopped.
Yep.
Flip-flopped. And it's just different. So.
It is different. I think that if you're patient and you can wait, interest rates are going up, which is unfortunate for buyers. It's not going up drastically. So I feel like we're going to see this kind of seller's market start to trickle a little bit as we go on, if we're patient, a little bit down. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah.
But because the interest rates are going up, that is just going to naturally happen. And I think that it'll be okay. We're going to get more inventory. It's going to be fine. And again, like the urgency thing is huge. Like don't sit on something. If you're like, oh, I just want to think about it. Like if you're ready to buy or rent and you see something you fall in love with, get in there and see it as soon as you can. Or have a guy like Zach who can find you pocket listings, because just went under contract last week with someone because Zach found them a pocket listing. It wasn't even on market yet. Got him in there. We're able to seal the deal without even putting it on the market, which is great because it just really avoids a lot of competitiveness, and the offer was really good and strong, so it was great.
I like to talk to people. That's how I find them.
Yeah, Zach's a good talker.
Yeah,
I feel like takeaway is be patient. Be urgent. It's a weird market, and your realtor is trying to they should be trying to do their best, and they are. It's frustrating for you, obviously, trying to purchase. It's just as but it is frustrating for us as well, because we want you to find something, and it's frustrating. We have to call you and be like, oh yeah, there's an offer there. It's contingent. They put an offer in on it. Oh, it's rented. Like it sucks. We don't like telling our clients that.
No one likes giving bad news.
No, and we want you to find something. Yeah. So be patient, be urgent, and it'll get done. Good?
Sure.
Yeah, I feel like that was a good summary of this market.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining.
Be patient, be urgent.
Urgent, patient.
Between two realtors. Urgent, patient.
Between two realtors. Hey, look at the description below. Or is it above?
Yeah. It's definitely below.
It's below.
We already talked about this. I don't know the difference between up and down.
I do. So look below.
Look below.
In the description for all of our cool stuff that you should look at.
That's coming soon or already out now.
Just go look.
Yeah, just go look. Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Sign off.